is going to be my marking video, marking guide for us. I'm going to make multiple videos. I decided just to spread them out because if I make one video and everything, it's probably not going to get memorized as much as if I had just made separate videos, and I can put more attention to detail on specific attributes that we need to work on, specific things, and I can just solely focus on those things instead of doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This one is just going to be marking. Marking is essentially just pressure and interceptions. I think there's two different kinds of marking though. There's the offensive one, where we pressure people and we look to intercept the ball so we can create a counter. And then there's defensive marking, where it's more for the center backs. I can't really go into that one because I need Ernie and Emilio's opinions on that, and maybe I can make a video for them. That way, if everything's are sloppy, we can work on those things. But just for now, I'm just gonna do this part, and there's really no better way than to showcase Ruñiz, because Ruñiz is a god at intercepting. That dude is so legit at doing his thing, man. I have so many clips of him in this video. These two videos, I just chose the game we had against San Luis where we won 5-3 or 5-4. Because even though we scored, we also got scored on, and there was a few mistakes that we had. It was a good game, but it wasn't a perfect game. A lot of us had too many openings that we were creating, and we thought we were pressuring, but in reality, we were just chasing the ball around. And that's what we need to fix. We have to actually create proper amounts of pressure in the right kind of way so we can actually deal with these good teams, because they're doing it naturally. We're not doing it naturally. We're still messing up here and there. But let's see. The few rules I have for this is what I essentially what I call lines. So from this guy having the ball to this guy, there's a straight line in between them because everyone passes with X. An X pass is always a straight line pass. It just goes in a straight line. There's really no curve to it. And what that allows is, it allows us to intercept the ball if we get in between the two passers. If we get in between the two passers, the guy's not going to want to pass it to him because he knows he's going to get blocked. Interceptions are so strong in this game. We don't take enough advantage of them. So there's a proper technique to this. Right here, the guy doesn't have the ball yet, but if he were to have the ball and Eric is in between the line of these two guys, he's not going to give him the ball. He's not being pressured enough to make a bad decision. He can make a good decision by giving it to the guy that's out wide. He can do a lot of things, but this pass is probably not going to happen. And it's just because Eric's already in the line. What we have to do, this is proper technique. This is something Ruñiz does a lot, and I'm going to show it a lot in this video, hopefully. I wrote down a few clips here. Is he isn't in the line, he's just hovering it. So if Ruñiz was Eric here, Ruñiz would not be here. He would not be in the line because he wants he wants to provoke the guy to give the closest guy near him the ball. Ruñiz would be right here, or he would be right here. He's close to him, but he's giving him the chance to give him the ball. Except what Ruiz does, I like to talk to him about it, but I don't know if he really cares about this kind of things, or it just comes natural to him, is right before the guy passes the ball, he predicts the timing of when the guy's ready to pass it. As soon as he knows there's no chance in hell he's going to cancel the pass, he makes a cut into the line. He gets in the way. He gets in the way of the two guys, and he always gets a good, clean interception out of it. It throws people off, and he's so good at doing that. And that's what primarily we need to work on. Later on in this clip, he's actually going to do it, but for now, let me see what else I had to talk about. See, we have to predict the timing of when someone passes the ball. and look to get in between the straight line and intercept the ball, because X passing is always a straight line pass. If we mark too tightly, it won't always work because we want them to believe that they can actually pass it to that guy. So we want to encourage them to pass it. And if we are too close, if we are marking way too close to these people, so if Eddie was like right here next to this guy, it's not necessarily gonna work because that allows this guy to make a quick sprint to the sides or to the front, and you don't know where he's gonna go. If you give him enough space, he can try to make a quick burst, but you can actually, it gives you more room to think about it and not get caught out by the guy, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, yeah, I'm happy to talk about it to explain more whenever I'm done uploading this video. When we're on offense, so when we have the ball, if we want to pass it to someone who's in between the line, if you can't find it, let me explain it better. If Vedier has the ball and he wants to pass it to Eric, but one of these guys is in between both, there's no way that pass is going to work because this guy is right here. Everyone marks like that. Everyone marks to cut the line right away. And it's effective. It is effective. Especially when you're being pressured, yeah, it gives people less room to think about what they're doing, and it leads to a lot of mistakes and counters. So if Edgar wanted to pass it to Eddie, but there was a guy in the way, someone should be he should be looking to pass it to a guy on his side, because at that instance, like, just pretend this guy's not here. At that instance, that opens up, and all of a sudden, this guy has a clear pass, a clear straight line to Eddie without any kind of marking. If you want to give it to someone, don't force it. Look for someone on your side and ask them to pass it. That's as clear as I can explain it. I do have a clip of it. I'll show it right now because that actually led to a goal in this game. So let's see the Ruñiz clip of how he wins the ball. Oh, I have a little circle right here. Okay. I'm going to let it run and then I'll go back. So right here, this guy has the ball. He has a straight pass to this guy. Dorian is not marking anyone. He's kind of bad. He has a bad mark right there. This guy can easily pass it to these two options. They're so easy. I believe Eddie's going to run with his computer and he's going to create pressure, so it gives him less of a window to actually think about his pass. But what Ruñiz ends up doing here is he runs this way to make it seem like, oh shit, don't pass it straight here, because if I pass it straight here, Ruñiz is going to get too close to my guy, and by the time he receives the ball, he's going to be like somewhere around here, and he's going to be able to tackle him and win the ball. Or he's going to create too much pressure. I want to give it to this guy that's safe. So as soon as that Ruñiz baits the guy out with that, he makes a really small run. He makes a really small run right here. And then he goes for this guy. He makes a small run and then he goes to get in between these two guys. And he wins the ball. That's so free. Like, it's such an easy bait, and he does it so perfectly. Right there, he's running towards the guy. He backs off, and he starts, because there's no way he can get to that guy. If you think about it, there's just too much distance between them. But there's not. There's too much distance between him and this guy, but there's a smaller window right here. Aside that, if this guy looks for this pass, that's still in Ruñiz's line. He can still intercept it by getting in between these guys. ends up marking, boom, easy interception. He baited them thinking he was going to mark someone else and quickly changed his direction to the guy he was going to intercept the ball from. He let him feel like he was going to give a safe pass, and right before he pressed that X button, like a split second before he pressed the X button, he changed his momentum and just went straight for the guy that was closest to him. It's it's kind of difficult, but that's something we actually need to do to go to that next level. Let me go back to this game. 331. Just let it run before I see what the hell I was thinking. Okay. Things change a lot. Right now, Lorian's marking this guy. Ruiz looks like he's marking him, but in reality, he's going over here. I have no mark, so this guy's going forward. I'm gonna try to meet him up, but I don't. I ended up, as soon as I get close to him, I end up taking a detour and marking this guy so he can't pass it. Because I know Dorian's in between this guy, so there's no way that pass can work at that moment. Now we have a lot of pressure on this guy. Now there's three of us right here. There's Ruiz, me, and Dorian. This pass is still not good. This pass is not good. And Ruiz is going this way. But he's not a mastermind. He's not gonna go here. He's gonna keep going forward. It happens from time to time. He thinks he's gonna pass it to this guy. I end up going this way just to intercept him because I know Dorian has this pass. I don't have to mark this guy alongside Dorian. I just have to create pressure. I just have to make this guy believe it. Either I'm gonna tackle him or I'm gonna cut his pass. So now he does have an opening. If you triangle this on the sides, it should work. Ember will be there, but he should receive the ball. I'm still marking this guy. Ruiz is too close. There's two of us right here, basically. He passes it behind. I get it. He passes it to the front. Ruiz gets it. This is kind of his only opening, but he's nowhere near the ball. If he takes too long, it's going to get intercepted no matter what he does. And that's exactly what happens. Dorian ends up predicting. Dorian ends up making it look like he's going this way. But at the same time, this guy's not giving him a break. If this guy keeps running forward, he's going to end up in this kind of line with Dorian, and it's going to get blocked. Just off of pressure, he ran out of time to think about where he was going to pass it because he keeps going forward, and it got intercepted. Then we just create a freaking counter out of nowhere and just created a good chance, a good scoring opportunity. Let's see what this one was about. The longer the pass, the more easier it gets to intercept the ball. This is another Ruiz clip where he just has so much time to make a good decision, but he already knows what he's doing. Right here, Edgar has this mark. If he passes it here, Eddie can get him. Eddie can even get this guy too, just off of in between. And Immune can block his run if he wants to make a run. This guy is probably the safest bet right here, and if he was smart, he would pass it to this guy, and this guy could pass it right here. And that's how that works. That's how you create an opening when you want to give it to someone, but they're being blocked off by a lot of people. You send it to someone on the side that isn't blocked off by people, whose line isn't being blocked. So Ruiz is kind of free right here. He doesn't have anybody because he's too far from these marks. He's kind of marking this guy, and this guy's making a run behind us. He could also go this way, but because the distance is so long, I think he ends up passing it to this guy right here because it's so long and Ruiz is already close. He just has to get in between them when the pass is on and it's traveling. When the pass is traveling towards the other guy, he can easily intercept it. But right there, he stops where he was running. He's going back to where he wants the guy to pass the ball to. Boom. Easy seal. Easy interception. At least he makes it look easy. Everybody has to practice it until they figure it out. You gotta also consider latency and lag, because your reaction time could be way different to what the game actually makes you do, just because of your ping. What's this? And look how many mistakes people make. At this moment, this guy has no one else besides maybe this guy to pass it to. He can't pass it here because I'm in the way. I'm not directly in the line, but I can get in the line. He can't pass it here because Eddie's not directly in the line, but he can get there. Ruiz can also get there. Can't pass it over here because Ruiz is in between them. He can't pass it here because Lorian might not be in the line, but he's going towards it. So if he passes it anywhere, we're not in the line, we're next to it, and it gives him the thought that he can make a play, but in reality, if everyone predicts the timing of when he's going to pass it, and he has no choice but to pass it, we run into the line, someone's going to intercept it. I think in this case, the someone was Orion. So right here, Eddie goes to pressure him. So Eddie runs up to him while also keeping this line. That's why he can't pass it at no moment. Even though Eddie's going forward, he can't pass it to this guy at all. It's not going to work. And that's what we also have to work on. I said it at the beginning of the video, but I'm just reminding it that you have to run on the line when you're pressuring. If you're pressuring the guy with the ball, you have to run on the line. If you're not pressuring, you stay on the side of the line. And when they pass it, when you know they're going to pass it, you get in there and intercept it. Right here, Lorian's blocking it. This guy's a little too close to Embiid. Embiid can mark him properly. Ruiz has this guy to worry about. Also, Ruiz didn't have to. I think that was a mistake on his part. He could have gotten over here. He could have got anywhere around here, and he could have marked this guy and this guy for us. But no one's fucking perfect. He's a really good player though. Boom. It ends up getting intercepted because he had nobody. But we didn't make it seem like he had nobody. It looked like he could pass it. There we go. We start off the counter right away. That's a stupid triangle. It's whatever. But we know this works. We know this is actual pressure. This is good pressure we have to be creating. We can't just be running around chasing the ball. We have to get in these lines that they have between each other and intercept the ball. Do I have any more clips? Oh yeah, let me get another example of when you pass it to someone when you have pressure on you. So this is just from the kickoff. You saw how this guy right here, he automatically got inside the line between between Ernie and Embiid. Look at that. He's on the side. Ernie gets the ball. Just in case Ernie first touched it, he's in between them. At this moment, he doesn't really have options. Grevis is too close to this guy. This line's being marked. There's no one here. Dorian's like all the way on the side over here doing something. But if Greville runs over here, then Ernie can give it to him. I think that's what ends up happening. Okay. Yeah, he takes his time. It opens up the. There was a computer, so the computer wasn't marking Greville that much. He has all the time in the world. This pass could have gone bad, but the guy didn't go all the way at getting in between Greville and Immune. See, the pass is right here. This guy's already running, but somewhere in between the traveling of the ball, he stops running and he goes back over here. It's just a mistake because he sees how Immune's body is going downwards, is looking down, so he probably thinks Immune's going down also. So he just lets it slide. At this moment, let me go a little bit back. At this moment, Immune can't pass it to Edgar. He can't pass it to me, and he can't pass it to Eddie. He's turned around, and turn around doesn't give you good passes. He can pass it here. He can't pass it to Grevian because there's two guys in this line, and it's unsafe. There's so many guys marking right here. The only safe option, if he wants to give it to anybody to keep the attack going, is Ruñiz. Ruñiz is being left alone. No one is marking him. But what ends up happening with this, and I said it again, if you're being pressured and you want to give it to some guy, but there's a line in between you and him, give it to find someone on the side and let him send it, because no one is between me and Ruñiz, so no one can stop this play from happening. Right there. There's nobody. There's literally nobody between me and him. There's no one between me and Dorian. I can even send it to Dorian forward and create a chance for us. So if this was an X pass, big time it gets intercepted. But Dorian sends a lob pass forward. There's nobody in between him and just sending it forward, and Eddie can just make a run. Boom, golazo from a counter. That's how we fucking counter. We take the smallest opening and we run with it, but we also try to create openings and being patient with passing the ball. Everybody has to try to open up and not let these lines happen. There should, the game. Even the best teams, they always leave at least one guy. At least one guy always slips up and doesn't do proper mark. And that's where we have to look towards. We have to abuse that one person.